Hello and welcome to another Discovery series brought to you by the CUNY SPH Career Services Office. My name is Tina Lynn. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the Student Career Advisor and happy to be here today, joined by our special guests, Melissa Opp and Tanya Cole, to share about the CHES exam. So we welcome you and thank you so much for being here to tell us about this.
Sure. Thank you, Tina. Tanya and I are excited to be here this afternoon, evening, not sure what we want to call it, but happy to be here to talk a little bit more about the Certified Health Education Specialist exam and just share some information about the exam and the process to apply for the exam. Okay, I'm trying to advance my slides and why aren't they going now? Oh, there we go. Okay, so my name is Melissa Opp. I'm the Deputy Executive Director with NCHEC, and I'm going to be giving you some background information about the NCHEC organization and the certification. And then we also have Tanya Cole here with us, who has much experience with NCHEC, and she is reviewing exam applications on a daily basis. So she's going to walk everyone through just the process that we use to accept applications, scheduling exams, sort of everything you need to know about going through the registration process. And then we'll wrap it up with just some information about maintaining the certification and some information about certification and the health education profession in general. And, you know, we do have a lot of prepared slides here today, but we do want to take the opportunity at the end to just do a question and answer session. If there's any questions anyone has, particularly about eligibility or the process or about maintaining the certification, you know, Tanya and I are happy to answer any questions at the end of the session. And I think we have a chat, Tina, that people can just maybe put some questions in the chat during the presentation, and we'll try to cover those all at the end of this session. So I'm just going to begin just talking a little bit about our organization, the National Commission for Health Education Credentialing. Our vision is to promote, improve, and protect the health of people through upholding the highest quality standards in health education certifications. Our mission is to enhance the professional practice of health education by promoting and sustaining a credentialed body of health education specialists. Our charge is that we develop and administer nationally based competency exams. So we have the CHES and the MCHES exam. We develop standards for professional preparation and practice, and we promote professional development through continuing education of health education professionals. Our certification is over 30 years old, and we have 5 validated job analysis studies, which are the basis of our exams. We are really proud to have our certifications accredited by 2 accrediting bodies, the National Commission for Certifying Agencies and the International Accreditation Services, or IAS. So you might ask, what is a CHES individual? What does having that CHES after one's name mean? So it means that an individual has met specific academic preparation qualifications. They successfully passed a competency-based examination. They satisfy continuing education requirements to maintain the credentials, and they have an ongoing commitment to continuing education and professional development. So I'm going to briefly talk about the eligibility requirements, and Tanya's going to go into a little bit more detail about what she looks at when she's reviewing for eligibility. But eligibility for the CHES exam is based exclusively on academic qualifications. So we're looking for individuals that have a bachelor's, master's, or doctoral degree from an accredited institution and a major in health education, community health education, public health education, school health education. So if the major isn't in one of those that I just listed, we also look for 24 semester hours or 37 quarter hours specific to coursework related to the now 8 areas of responsibility of health education specialists. And when I say the 8 areas, we're looking for courses in program planning, implementation, needs assessment, research, evaluation. Those are the types of courses that we're looking for those 25 semester hours. So why does certification matter? So national certification benefits practitioners, and it also benefits employers and the public. It establishes a national standard of practice for all health education specialists. It attests to an individual's health education specialist knowledge and skills, assists employers in identifying qualified health education practitioners. It also develops a sense of pride and accomplishment for those who hold the certification. And lastly, it helps promote continued professional development for an individual health education specialist. So now I'm going to turn the presentation over to Tanya Cole, and she's going to talk a little bit more about the actual exam application process and what that looks like for someone who's interested in applying for the exam.
So the CHES and MCHES exams are currently offered twice a year, April and October, and they're open over a 10-day window with many different testing times and locations available. Our current registration cycle will actually open this coming November 1st. Rescheduling options are available during that testing window, and NCHEC does offer a handbook that's available on our website at nchec.org/exams. The first thing to understand is that every official transcript submitted with an application or a pre-screen is reviewed on an individual basis. Know that the course titles vary widely from university to university, as does course content. If the exam coordinator who reviews your transcript is uncertain about the content of a course that you've taken, she may ask you to provide a course description or syllabi to help more define what's included in each course. A tip for registration could also be printing out your course descriptions before applying. If you think there would be questions on the course titles and course descriptions, and then you could provide that with your application to help provide more clarity on what the course would entail. The application and screening process. The next step would be to submit an application or a pre-screen. This can be done online through the NCHEC portal once you've created an online account, or applications can also be emailed to the exam coordinator. The official transcripts submitted with the application are then reviewed, and if needed, additional documentation could be requested. Once the 25 or more credits that align with the 8 areas of responsibility are identified, the candidate is contacted with next steps to complete exam registration. If an exam applicant is found ineligible, information on how to obtain additional academic credits are provided. Applicants are then moved to the candidate stage and begin preparation to sit for the exam. Your exam appointment can then be scheduled within your online portal. Occasionally, applicants are unclear about whether their credential would meet the eligibility requirements. Their degree may not read very specifically health education, but they may have accumulated sufficient hours of coursework. The Commission offers a pre-screening service for prospective applicants to determine eligibility before applying for the CHES exam. Transcripts are reviewed to determine eligibility, and then notification through email of the pre-screen outcome will be provided. If ineligible, course deficiencies will be identified and guidance for qualification will be provided. There is a $25 non-refundable fee for this service. If you're deemed eligible, the $25 fee is applied toward the applicant's full exam registration fees. The pre-screen period for the April 2023 exam also opens on November 1st. So everything will open next week. Benefits of pre-screening. So a pre-screen application is often used in place of a regular application if you are in any way unsure of your coursework eligibility. In fact, there are benefits to using the pre-screen service that you may not be aware of. You will not need to resubmit an additional application if you are eligible. Simply log back into the account you create and complete the exam payment and select a test site location. Pre-screen applications receive priority during the review process, so your results will be received within about 2 weeks or less. Traditional applications may take longer. If you are not currently eligible, you will learn exactly how many credits are missing, as well as sample course titles to help you select additional classes. You can pick up these credits online if you wish. The cost of the pre-screen is $25, and that is again subtracted off your full application fee if you are eligible. So you won't end up paying the same, you won't end up paying more than the cost of the original full registration fees. And then the date of your pre-screen application will be considered your exam application date. So you will not incur higher exam fees due to a deadline cutoff. So if you would do the pre-screen, say in November, when we have our first deadline, and it's not reviewed until the next month, you're still going to get those first deadline registration fees. NCHEC has made an exception for students to sit for the CHES exam before graduation if the student intends to graduate within 90 days of the exam. Students must fulfill the requirement of completing his or her degree and submitting a final transcript or diploma to NCHEC to receive active certification status, as well as submitting an advisor letter validating full-time student status. Exam registration opens in May and November of each year. Register during the early bird period to receive a $50 discount. Student discounts, full-time students only, which you're enrolled in 9 or more semester credits we consider full-time, are available with documentation of full-time status. So that's what the advisor letter is normally used for. The final exam registration period closes on February 28th and August 31st of each year. The MCHES certification signifies mastery of advanced level competency across the profession. MCHES is the only advanced credential for health education specialists who are knowledgeable and experienced leaders in the industry. MCHES is the only advanced level credential in the field of health education and promotion. Applicants, sorry. Skip the screen here. Once you have created an account and initiated a new application or pre-screen, you can enter your first and last name on the application exactly as it should appear on the CHES certificate. It is your responsibility to notify NCHEC of any changes in name and/or addresses before taking the exam. Official transcript reflecting school's name, degree, date awarded, and all completed coursework. Application cannot be processed without a transcript. They would all need official transcripts in order to review for eligibility. If sent separately, transcripts should be submitted no later than 30 days after the application submission and prior to the final deadline, or you will be subject to increased exam fees. The advisor letter, which is only needed if you are currently a student, that should also be included with your application. The letter would need to be on school letterhead and contain your name, projected graduation date, degree program, and state that you are currently full-time, and all documents must be uploaded before eligibility review can take place. Applicants who have been determined eligible for the CHES exam will receive an authorization to test email. This notification will be sent to your registered email address, and it is necessary to schedule your examination appointment. Remember that application reviews can take up to 3 weeks during busy times. Ineligible applicants will be notified by email also. If you are found ineligible to take the CHES exam, your application fee will be refunded minus the non-refundable application processing fee of $100. You can reapply for the examination in the future should you complete the necessary coursework for eligibility, and you do have the right to an appeal your denial of eligibility. Next steps would be to schedule your exam appointment. NCHEC has currently transitioned to a new testing vendor through PSI. You are able to schedule with a link within your authorization to test email, or you can also go to your NCHEC portal where you log in to see your dashboard, and there's also going to be a link included there. Applicants are strongly encouraged to schedule an exam appointment right away to obtain a preferred test date, time, and location. Do not wait until exam testing window opens to schedule a time slot, as the appointments are scheduled on a first-come, first-served basis. Should a candidate be unable to schedule an exam appointment within the exam testing windows, fees will not be refunded or transferred. CHES and MCHES exam candidates utilize professional, secure, technology-enabled global PSI test centers, which include such benefits as immediate pass-fail scoring for CHES only, and an expanded range of testing dates and locations, 24-hour online scheduling, and stringent social distancing protocols at test centers. Applicants choosing a test center can search online, and I've attached a little website there to discover what test centers are nearest to them through an easy zip code search tool. International testing is also available. The CHES examination is competency-based. This means that the examination is constructed based on the framework document, which identifies the 8 areas of responsibility. Within each area of responsibility, the basic competencies and sub-competencies necessary for health education specialists have been delineated. These serve as a basis for developing the questions on the examination. The CHES examination is a 3-hour timed exam offered via live remote proctoring or computer-based at a test center. The exam consists of 165 multiple choice questions, 150 are scored, and 15 are pilot tested that measure the possession, application, and interpretation of knowledge essential to the practice of health education. A study companion guide, which is called the Health Education Specialist Companion Guide 8th edition, is available on the NCHEC website to assist in preparing for the examination and includes a full-length practice test. If accommodations are required, this must be completed prior to actually scheduling your exam appointment. The study guide for both the CHES and NCHES exams is useful, but it's not required. This is a tool used by candidates during study and preparation for the certification exam. The companion guide is only available on the NCHEC website. Please note that the study guide changed to the 8th edition beginning with the October or fall 2022 CHES exam. So this is a brand new study guide that was just used this past cycle. This table outlines the areas of responsibility on the examination and the % of exam questions that come from each area. This content for the CHES examination will be effective for the October 2022 exam moving forward.
Okay, so I'm going to turn it back over to myself and then just talk a little bit about once you have taken the exam and passed, what happens to maintain the certification. So we require a $60 annual renewal fee. And then every 5 years is recertification time. So every 5 years, you need to get 75 hours of continuing education. And there's lots of ways to do that. We have over 250 designated providers that offer credits for continuing education or professional development. Many of those credits are free of charge. CDC is one of our largest designated providers that offer a lot of self-studies and webinars free of charge to get those credits. So there's a way that you can search for those credits online through our website to see the different self-studies, conferences, and things like that to get your continuing education. We've also recently implemented a measurement of continuing competency within the certification. And that's a requirement that you can also get through our designated providers of continuing education. Also, there's an option to have a supervisor or manager at your current job, or after you have the certification, a future employer, to just attest to the competency on the job. So more information is available and sent once people are certified. And then to just talk about where people with the certification are working, they're working in a variety of different settings. So just to talk about a couple examples, working in hospitals or healthcare, doing patient education. In the government setting, working at federal, state, and local health departments, doing various different work within health departments. The university setting, maybe working in student health services, or you're working as a professor to prepare future health educators. In the business setting, working for worksite wellness and improving employee health through various different programs, offered in employee wellness. In the community setting, so many different nonprofits out there hiring health educators to do program evaluation, things like that. And then schools, working in the K through 12 school setting in health education there. So you can visit our website. We do have a listing of over 450 employers who are preferring CHES. So you can find that in our career section on our website. We also have a lot of other resources available either on our website or on our social media channels. We do have a YouTube page where we're featuring some stories, some interviews with people who hold the certification, and kind of just talk about their journey, how they got into health education, why they decided to become a health education specialist or a certified health education specialist. So I encourage you to just kind of check out some of those interviews and stories on our YouTube channel to just kind of learn a little bit more about what people are doing with the certification. And I talked about our resources page on our website. This has different resources for students preparing for the exam, what you need to know, talking about some of those things Tanya talked about, the 90-day option for those people who are going to be graduating soon and might want to take the exam prior to graduation. Students looking to get that reduced student fee and what they need to do, to apply as a student. And just, some of our other career information. We do have a job postings page on our website for employers to post jobs free of charge, and just other resources about marketing yourself and things like that. So I encourage you to check out that resources page. And then I think we have some time now to just kind of open it up for some Q&A. I know that there were maybe some specific questions that were answered during the registration, but Tina, I'm not sure if other questions kind of came in. So, you know, we're happy to just kind of open it up to, you know, talk about some of those questions or, you know, anything else that people might want to discuss here.
That sounds great. Thank you, Melissa. And I do see some things in the chat. And I'd encourage you to feel free to raise your hand or drop things in the chat. I can read it off to you. One student asked, do both undergrad and grad transcripts need to be official if you should be eligible from an undergrad degree? And there are other questions about like who from CUNY can write an advisor letter. Does it have to be an academic advisor, and is there a usual window within April that the tests occur?
Tanya, do you want to take the first one about the transcript?
Yeah, I can start. So any transcripts that you provide for review would need to be official. If you're eligible under your undergraduate degree, I would not need to see your master's degree. So you would just need to send in a transcript that shows the health education coursework, and those need to be official. So anything that you would pretty much submit should be official.
Mm-hmm. But you would look at both if they decided to send in both their undergrad and graduate, right? I mean, you know, if they sent in both, you would probably look at both of them.
I do. Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look at everything that's sent in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tina, that covers the transcript. Could you just read off the second question about the advisor letter? I think it was.
Yeah, they were asking about who would qualify to write that advisor letter. Does it need to be an academic advisor?
Well, it should be. It should be the advisor, because what they do is they confirm the degree program you're in, they confirm that you're graduating, they confirm the degree program. There is also something from the registrar's office that you can send in, which is called an enrollment verification form. And that usually states on there what your projected graduation date is. And it usually states on there semester by semester, if you're full-time, if you're part-time, things like that. So we could also get that sent in. And I think professors have sent in information too. You know, we trust that information. I'm sure the professors can look that information up. So if you have any questions specifically when you're applying, you know, please feel free to reach out to me and I can let you know what would work and what would not work. But I usually don't have any issues with where advisor letters would come from.
It's really, I guess, you know, just justifying that the student is enrolled in those courses that would make them eligible, right, Tanya? And that they're going to graduate within 90 days of taking the exam. So if someone's planning to take, you know, the April exam and graduate in May, but we want to just verify that they're enrolled in those classes that would, you know, complete their eligibility requirement, and that they're planning, you know, that would allow them to graduate then in May. So that's really what we're looking for. I'm not sure if we ever had that question about who's but hopefully that clarified that question.
I see there's one last question here. Is there a usual window within April that the test occurs? So the exam is given every April and every October for a 10-day window. So it's usually goes from like the 3rd to the 4th week of April. We try to cover 2 full weekends. So and that goes for October also. We usually try to do it somewhere within 10 days of the 3rd and the 4th week of the month.
So people are sitting for exams right now.
They just
it's
wrapped
over.
up.
The 20. October we actually just ended on the 22nd.
Yeah.
So we try to look at holidays. including religious holidays, things, major functions that are going on with the university, Easter for April. So we just try to work around those schedules each month, but try to have it towards the latter end of the month.
Great. And we've got some other questions in the chat, as well as a hand raise. So in the chat, they're asking if you could again show those 8 focus areas where the 25 credits need to cover to be cleared for the exam. And the question is, do you find students in public health programs usually meet these on the first try, or they need more coursework?
So sometimes that depends on the concentration. With a public health degree, I believe you may have to pick a specific concentration. We have a lot of public health students that come through and are eligible. You just never know. Each university is different, so everyone has different curriculum. You would just need those credits in health education. Normally, you see courses like health education planning, health education assessment, health promotion and education. Some universities name their things differently. But again, I think it depends on your concentration. So if you had say a master's in public health with a concentration in epidemiology, you most likely would not have all the courses to be eligible for the exam. A concentration in either health education or behavioral health, things like that, may have the coursework needed. But again, it's on a case-by-case basis. The best thing to do is use the Prescreen service for a review, and then we could help to see if you're eligible, and if need be ineligible, we could help to see, help you get courses that would deem you eligible for the exam.
And we've got a hand raised, Juan, if you want to unmute and share your question. And for those in the chat, hopefully that answered your questions, but Juan, go ahead.
Awesome, thank you. My question is, what if someone feels discouraged on taking the CHES exam? The reason why I'm asking that is I do have a friend that is interested in taking the exam, but they feel a little unease, or they feel like they won't pass the exam, things like that. So I'm trying to figure out what kind of advice can I give them. And I feel like I took the CHES before, I didn't pass it, but I realized that everyone has their own paths. And for this, the one specifically, how can you aid someone in or encourage them to take the CHES? Because I learned a lot just by studying it. But yeah.
I mean, I guess that's the the first step is like the preparation. I think for those that are students or maybe recent grads, a lot of that coursework is more fresh in their mind, and we always encourage students to, look at course textbooks to help in their preparation. And of course, like the study guide, the companion guide that we publish. So that book, it has 8 chapters, and each of the chapters is based on an area of responsibility. So assessment, planning, implementation, and so on. And within those specific chapters, it breaks it down by competency and subcompetency. So for the CHES exam, the questions are related to the entry level subcompetency. So within that study book, you'll see, which competencies are entry level and can really focus on sort of the content within those subcompetencies. There's also practice questions at the end of that companion guide, 165 practice questions that can, again, assist in preparation. Once you take the practice test, you might find there's a certain area that you tend to be, maybe need to spend a little bit more focus on. And that will just kind of allow you to maybe do an assessment of your knowledge, even before you take the test. At NCHEC, we're the administrator of the exam, so we really don't get too much into study prep, other than, publishing our companion guide. But I do know that even on our specific Facebook page, a lot of people are sharing study tips. They're actually having sort of virtual study groups. I know that there's other organized study groups out there as well. I know the Society for Public Health Education, or SOPHE, and I can drop that in the chat. They do a study prep course too, and it's they go through certain areas and talk about the content in those specific areas. So you know, I think studying is different for everybody. You know, I think, you know, hopefully that will at least maybe give some tips to people who are just unsure. And then, you know, I guess if you aren't successful the first time, we do give a score report, and, you know, it tells you how you fared within each of the 8 areas of responsibility. So, you know, maybe if you weren't successful the first time, you get that score report, you know that you might need to focus more on area 4 a little bit, evaluation and research, and, you know, maybe focus your studying next time on that. So we do have, you know, information on retaking the exam and things like that. So hopefully, Juan, that was helpful, that you can pass that along to your colleague.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
those study tips. Go ahead, Juan, I'm sorry.
Oh, that was okay. I was say thank you very much. It's my nephew, and I want to make sure that he's prepared and he
Okay.
doesn't get discouraged and things like that. So I'm trying to do my
Sure.
part as a, you know, as a
Sure.
family member to support. Thank you.
Yes, great. Yeah, we do usually leading up to the CHES exam, or testing window, I should say, not just the CHES, but the MCHES. We do provide some study tips, like on our website and through our social media pages. So yeah, so, you know, again, like, preparation for the exam is different for everyone. You know, there's a lot of test anxiety out there, I know. I mean, I took both the CHES and the MCHES exam, and I'm an anxious test taker. So I think you just, you know, have to, you know, feel as prepared as you can when you get in there.
Again, it sounds like whether knowing your style for studying, whether it's in groups or if it's accessing the different resources that's either on the website or through study groups and through some of these organizations too, could be helpful.
Yeah, I know, Tanya, we do have CHES study groups on our website. Not sure how well they're updated. I know we had a lot more of those pre-pandemic. And it's just really, like I said, as the administrator of the exam, we don't host study sessions or anything like that. But sometimes people will send us the information, say, oh, I'm having a study workshop. Can you put it on your website? So we do have a page available, Tanya, on that. I don't know, Tanya, do you mind just throwing that in the chat, like putting that link from our
sure.
website in there? That way
Absolutely.
people know that that's out there.
And I'm curious if that's something that CUNY SPH students that might be taking the exam, if that's something that they could form a group through the student clubs and that sort of a thing. So yeah.
And you know, I talked a little bit about SOPHE, the Society for Public Health Education. It was just National Health Education Week last week, and I know they did a session on study prep courses. You know, Tina, I can maybe send that to you, you know, just so you have it as a resource, you know, if that's something that you want to start up at your university, and you can maybe share with your colleagues. I can send that to you.
Yeah, and if that's something that students are interested in, please indicate that in the post-event survey, or email our career services office so that we can kind of support you in these aspirations. There was another question about, do you know what % of students pass the exam the first time?
I don't think we know that exact percentage for first-time students. For the exam right now, there's about a 65% overall pass rate, I think, 65 or 70, and that's just for the entire cycle. So I'm not sure about like exact students that take it for the first time.
Yeah, we publish those pass rates on our website as
Yeah.
well, and that fluctuates. You know, we're changing the exam right now. So this October, the people who just took the window last week, it's a new exam. It's a new exam based on the 8 areas of responsibility. So we go through a whole process to establish the pass point for that new exam. So we'll have to, you know, we'll publish, you know, what the pass point is for that new exam as well.
That was a great question. Anybody else with any other questions or comments? Melissa, I know that earlier on, there was this great picture that you started off
Oh,
the,
sure. Let me go back to that.
and I was wondering a little bit about that, as people also have been asking, well, how is this helpful in attaining a job, its workforce value, and what this can do for employment. And yeah, so
Yeah.
I was just curious about that photo.
Sure, sure. So as we were kind of gathering before the Zoom room opened, Tina was just, you know, made comment about this picture. Oh, who are these ladies? So I was talking about that we attended the SOPHE meeting, the Society for Public Health Education meeting. They have a national meeting every year. And these ladies were just so excited because they recently passed the CHES and the MCHES exam. So we, you know, took a photo of them and just, you know, were able, you know, to share it on social media. You know, they were just, you know, so proud, you know, to have been recently certified. So I was just talking about sort of the importance of having like networking opportunities. And I think being a part of like a professional association like SOPHE, or I know there's APHA and there's other ones, but just the ability to network and maybe have mentors of people who've been in the profession for a while, I think is really beneficial. So, you know, we were saying how, you know, we go to the SOPHE conference every year, and NCHEC is a big partner, and, you know, we have an exhibit booth there. But for those, you know, on this call who might, you know, just be looking for more networking opportunities, or, you know, what we call kind of having like a professional home with an association, I think that's something good to think about, especially for young professionals, like early in their career, to just, you know, meet people who are seasoned, or maybe even just early in their career with them, and just, you know, talking about the journey to go through your career. So, you know, just something to think about as well.
Thank you, Melissa, for sharing about that, and for Tanya for all the great information, and for our students for joining us here tonight. I've dropped in the chat to keep in touch. You can email Tanya at tcole@nchec.org. We'll also be sending a post-event email to everyone. And if the Office of Career Services can be of any support to you as you're preparing for conferences, I know the APHA conference is right around the corner. If you're planning on attending that, want to discuss some networking strategies, or just getting your resume and application materials together, or doing mock interview practice, we're available for career advising appointments. So you can go to our webpage for that. And we would look forward to hearing your feedback on the survey. If you can take a few minutes to complete that, that would be a big help to us. And once again, thank you all for joining us tonight, and especially to Melissa and Tanya for the information that they provided. So have a great night, everybody. And we'll look forward to being in touch. Good luck on the exam.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.